Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're looking at the new ThruNite V6 catapult. So this is obviously a small light. It's going to give you 1700 lumens at the turbo output. So at that highest level, you're getting close to 2000 lumens, and this thing is built to be a thrower. So if you're looking for something that's going to be a floodlight, the TC20 is probably where you want to go. If you're looking for something to launch light into the darkness, this is something that you probably want to consider. So let me tell you what you get with the light, and we'll talk through some of the details, and then we'll take it out into the night and use it. All right, so obviously in the box, you're going to get the flashlight. It's also going to come with a 500 milliamp 26650 battery. You're going to get your instructions. You're going to get a holster or a pouch here for your flashlight. You're going to get some O-rings and your lanyard system and an extra button for the light. And then you're going to get your micro USB to recharge the light. As far as details for the light, it comes with an XHP 35 high LED inside. As you can see, it's got a smooth reflector inside. It is made of 6061 aluminum. Your size is 132 millimeters by 53 millimeters by 33.5 millimeters, and it's going to weigh in at 192 grams. As is true with most ThruNite flashlights, it's IPX8 rated, so it's good down to 2 meters, and it's drop resistant to 1.5 meters. Let me give you the details on the outputs now. So you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different outputs. So you've got Firefly, which is 0.5 lumens. That's going to run for 41 days. You have low, which is 22 lumens. That's going to run for 62 hours. Medium at 180 lumens. That's going to run for 9 hours. Let's see, high is 950 lumens. That's for 165 minutes. And then turbo is 1700 lumens. That's going to run for 150 minutes. It also has a strobe, and that's going to be 1200 lumens for 180 minutes. Here's a look at the light in the actual holster. I've said this a million times. I'm not usually a holster guy, but for a light that's a little bit bigger like this, I would probably use the holster. Just be aware that regardless of how you put it in or how you twist it around, the button is going to be below this opening. So you want to be careful that you don't accidentally bump it, have the light running, and then have the battery run out on you. There's a quick look at your charging port. Pretty much standard for most ThruNites or just in general flashlights that are USB rechargeable. So plug the smaller end there, plug the bigger end into your computer or some sort of outlet that'll take the standard USB, and you'll charge up your battery. All right, so some initial thoughts. The first thing is when I took this out of the box, I thought, man, this thing is small. Like, I thought it was going to be, it's a thrower. I'd seen people talking about it ThruNite, I think on their website even saying, this is to be a thrower for, getting a lot of distance, and so I thought it'd be a lot bigger. So very compact. I mean, look how small that is. Even your bezel diameter, I mean, it's not like it's some huge thing. Nice smooth reflector in there, as you can see. So yeah, very compact. I have had a chance to use it. I'm going to show you some footage here, but having had a chance to use it, I can tell you that hot center and then the spill out from there, obviously the higher lumen output you have it set on, you're going to get brighter spill, but in general, it's a notable hot center and then much less as far as your spill. For me, when I think about a light like this, I'm thinking I'm searching for something as opposed to a floodlight. I'm thinking give me a bunch of lit up areas so I can do work. I think about a floodlight like the TC20 for I got to work on my car at night and I need a light that's going to give me a bunch of area. I would not want this up close to be working on my car. It's just going to be reflecting so much light back to me. But if you go out at night and you're like, hey, I want to go spotting for animals or whatever it is, this thing is going to give you a lot of light at a really good distance. So yeah, I mean, compact 26650 batteries run for a long time. The fact that it's USB rechargeable is great. Seems like it's nicely made. It's solid. I do like the texturing they have there, a little bit of knurling. I think that's kind of cool. And I can tell you when you grip it, you're like, okay, I feel like I got good control of it. Sometimes you get a very smooth flashlight. I'm working with another company right now who's designing a new light, and one of the first things I said is you need more texture on that light. It's just too smooth to get a good solid purchase on it. So that's, I think, definitely a plus too, just the design and the texture there. Came outside now, and it's a little bit breezy tonight, so you may pick up a little wind on the microphone of the camera. But let's turn on the Catapult V6 at the lowest setting, Firefly here. So let's see if you can pick any of that up on the camera. Yeah, you can see a tiny bit there. Let me just shine it at my hand to show you that it is actually on there. So that was 0.5 lumens. Let's go up to 22 here. So there's 22 lumens, and you probably can't see it on camera yet, but this thing definitely has a hot center, and then your spill out from there is pretty dim. So it's definitely, as you know, as obvious with anybody who's checking out this light. And you know, I've said earlier, this is definitely a thrower. It's not built to be a floodlight. So that's 22 lumens. Let's go up to the next level, which is 180. So there's 180. At this point, I'm shining it kind of, I would say, maybe a third out into my front yard, and I could see most of the front yard pretty decently. Again, this is a thrower, it's not a floodlight, so I'm seeing a very hot center compared to the rest of the spill. Okay, we're at 950 now, and I can definitely see the entire front yard quite well. So that definitely does the job with that hot center, but still plenty of spill, so I could see around quite well. We're gonna go from high up to turbo here. That's 1700 lumens. I'll double click here. And definitely a difference from the 950, but not a huge difference. I just want to give you a sense here shining down at the lawn, but let's take it out and actually see this thing throw now. Okay, I'm out in the side yard now. I've zoomed the camera into the side of my shed, which is about probably 75 feet away. We'll go through the different settings here again. So we put on it Firefly. Can't really see anything out there on Firefly. Let's go to low. Now you can pick it up. Let's go to medium. Obviously more so, and now high. So I can see the shed, and then you can see some structures actually behind there. That's like a little tree stand I built out there for the kids. Let me double click and go up to the turbo. This thing is absolutely throwing. Let me get off into the woods a little bit and shine it off into a little bit of the darkness of the woods. Okay, I'm looking up into a tree now. As you can see, it definitely is a windy night here in New Hampshire. But what I'm doing is I'm shining it at the tree rather than looking in the woods, which are just too thick. You know, imagine I heard something up on a tree, you know, a raccoon or something, and I want to see what it was. So this is on medium, and I'm shining it up in the tree. Let's go up to high. There's high now, shining it up into the tree, and then we'll do turbo. Yeah, I mean, if I was trying to spot something in that tree, it's definitely not hiding from me at all. All right, so I'm actually shining it up at the attic window of my house now. I think this is on medium, so let me go up to high. And again, this is probably about 50 feet away, and the house is, you know, it's probably 35 feet up there to the top of the house, to the attic. And then we'll go on turbo. And I mean, yeah, this is throwing light. Ain't nobody hiding in the window up there if they were up there. All right, guys, I'm actually leaning out the window of my car here and shining the light. Let's take a look and see how this thing throws. I'm looking up a dirt road that goes, you know, a couple hundred yards, I would say, away. Alright, it's definitely hard to make out, but you can probably see like a little green dot there in the middle of the screen. That's the eyeball of some sort of animal out there in the swamp. And then I think I just picked up another one over to the right there. But that thing has got to be 300 yards off. See if you can still see it. Yeah, a little bit hard to pick up with all the bugs now around, but I could definitely still see that little green eyeball reflecting back at me. Yeah, you can see it there in the middle of the screen. So this thing is throwing 300 yards, and I could see the eye of a deer probably out there in the swamp. Pretty cool. All right, so you've seen the light in use. Let me give you some thoughts on this. I would absolutely 100% confirm this is a thrower, not a floodlight. It's not an EDC light. I'm not going to carry this thing on my hip, even in the holster. I'm just not going to use this as an everyday carry light. I don't think it's built for that. This thing, when I was driving around, it's funny, I couldn't get all the footage of it because the animals were crossing too quickly, but I saw a porcupine cross the road, I saw, I think, 2 deer cross the road, and I saw a possum cross the road. And I can tell you, so I pulled over and got this out and was shining it into the woods, and I would have had to got out of the car and kind of go wandering through the woods a little bit because the animals were off pretty deep into the woods. But when I just pulled over, rolled down the window and shined this, it was giving a hot beam and really lighting up that area where the beam was hitting. So it definitely functions in the way it's supposed to function. I see this as a good light for, you know, searching for something or someone. I don't have search and rescue background, you know, I don't have any training in that, but I'm thinking to myself, if, you know, someone said, hey, someone fell out of a canoe in this pond or this lake or whatever, I could see using this to get out there and to really shine and try to spot somebody. I mean, as you saw with that eye of the deer that I saw, that thing definitely, excuse me, bugs here. That thing definitely reflected back, and that was 300 yards off probably. So, you know, if somebody was wearing a life vest and they fell out of their canoe and you were shining it and you could get a little glimmer off something reflective or a piece of metal, I mean, this is the type of light that would help you to do that. Now, for a price point around 75 bucks, I feel like this is a good deal for what you're getting. So this light, compared to something like the ThruNite, I think it's the TC12, which is much more of an EDC light that can be used in a lot of different ways. This light has a specific function and feature. So, you know, if I was going to carry two lights in my car, I'd have this and the TC20, and so I've got a flood and I've got a thrower. As I'm saying that, maybe I'll actually do that. But yeah, I think this light has to fit the niche that you're looking for. What I can tell you is one of the interesting things about lumen output is at 1700 lumens at that turbo level, I don't feel like I'm like, you know what, I really want 3000 or 5000 lumens. That 1700 lumens gives a lot of light. And because of the size, how compact it is, it throws a good distance, but it gives enough light to see what I'm looking at. If I had 5,000 lumens in this thing, the size would just get really big and clunky, and it just wouldn't be as compact. So there's pluses and minuses to more lumen output and more size. But for me, what I would be using this for, how I'd be using it, 1700 seems about the right lumen output. And you probably know, different companies have different lumen outputs on their flashlights, and you get one that has 5,000 lumens, and you're like, yeah, but it's weird that 3,000 or 2,000 lumen light looks like it actually has more, more oomph, more clarity, more lumen output. So yeah, as a thrower, this thing is definitely doing the job, and I'm enjoying using it. So 75 bucks for this on Amazon. I've got links down below in the description section. ThruNite, I always say this, when I work with companies, it's hard for me to personally rate their customer service, but from talking to people who've worked with ThruNite, who are just consumers, they don't work with the companies, don't do reviews. In general, I've heard good feedback. When I've had any issue with a light and I email them, they always try to problem solve with me, and then if something didn't work, they would fix it or replace it for me. So my experience has been good. My experience of talking to other people with about ThruNite, their experience has been pretty good. So yeah, I think you've got a backing for the light if there is any issue with it, which at this point it's been working quite well. There we have it, the ThruNite V6 Catapult. Let's hear your thoughts. Would you use this light? Would you buy this light? If you do have one, what's your experience with it? Let's get that discussion started in the comment section down below. As always, I want to say thanks for watching the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Click that little red subscribe button and then click the bell so you'll get notifications when new videos come out. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.